Hello and welcome to the MyBFF Business Leaders Podcast. Today we are joined by two of the industry's best and brightest. We've got Lisa Cozzi, the Lisa Cozzi team, focused on all sorts of real estate endeavors in the New England, New York metro area, and PJ Lewis, General Manager of AllPoints Realty. So welcome to the program. PJ, you've been on the show before. So we're gonna turn our attention to Lisa here and ask her the question we ask all of our guests. What was your first car, make and model, and if you have any fun or funny stories that you can tell in a public setting?
So my first car was a Mercury Sable, and it was maroon. And I guess my funny story is I didn't have one until just right now. And I think back to this car. My parents had gone on vacation while I was in high school, and I definitely did not have my driver's license. And I just wanted to go to the corner store. So I took my babysitter and was like, oh, can you teach me how to drive? We pull out of the garage, and I rip off the mirror on the side of the car.
Oh, no.
Trying to explain that to my parents. And PJ knows my parents.
And did you keep going?
I did.
Oh, yeah.
I did get my New York Super Fudge chunk ice cream, and I came back home, and now I'm like, we have a problem to solve.
Oh, man.
So.
Ouch. So, hey, you know, we've all been there. So Lisa leads the Cozzi team, specializing in multifamily investment market throughout several markets in the Northeast, where her and her team have successfully closed thousands of units. She's recognized as a top 5 commercial team globally and consistently honored as a CoStar power broker. So just diving in with you a little bit, Lisa, understanding you specialize, marketing and selling multi-investment properties. What strategies are your team implementing to adapt to the current market and the challenges and opportunities that we're facing right now?
I mean, I think over the last 23 years, commitment and consistency has been how we have kind of worked through every single market, so we stay relevant. So we have a full service real estate team, and we kind of keep all of our buckets open. So whether it's lots that builders can build new construction on, or multifamilies, retail, office, leasing, we do all of it. So I think the biggest thing as the markets have moved, and I've watched it, like at one juncture, like the $1 million+ market could be the go-to market. And I remember one time that market had completely flourished, right? And so we were playing in that playground, but then my competition had no interest in working the 3 to 12 unit sales. So we were able to build in that market when no one else wanted to sell those properties. We really hyper-focused on the 3 to 12 units because no one else wanted to do it. And now we have the name in the marketplace that if you're going to sell a 3 to 12 unit property, come to the Lisa Cozzi team. So we stay relevant in every single piece of the market. And the second thing that we do is that we are very consistent in how we communicate and provide opportunities with our clients. So every single day we analyze every 3+ unit property in the state of Connecticut, Lower Massachusetts, areas of Rhode Island, and linking arms with New York and New Jersey agents. And what we do is collect all the research, the income and expenses, and then we decide what we think is the most enticing or intriguing investment opportunity. And we send that email out to our database every single day. So we are constantly communicating. They get one touch a day. Obviously, I really truly believe I'm getting on the phone and communicating with our clients the way they want to be communicated with. And I think just the fact that we are willing to put our time and effort and energy into analyzing all of these properties, even though we may or may not sell them, is a huge point. Because now it's a one-stop shop. Investors can come to us for all the research. So whether it's our listings, it's MLS listings that other agents will co-broke, or off-market pocket listings, we provide all of that due diligence for them, so they don't have to be looking on LoopNet or MLS or Zillow or Realtor.com. So we kind of have like a niche, almost MLS, that we've set up, so we can provide world-class service for our clients.
Nice. I see you're licensed in several markets, including Connecticut, Massachusetts, New York, and Rhode Island. Are there specific communities or neighborhoods where you're seeing strong potential for value add multifamily investments right now? And if so, what makes them attractive or more attractive than others?
I think you can look at all 4 markets that we're licensed in, and you're going to find the most opportunity in urban markets. And that's simply just because of the high concentration of multifamilies in those markets. So, there's different kind of like opportunities out there. You've got turnkey properties that people can just put their money in. They're low risk. They don't have the tolerance to have risk associated with it, right? Then you have people who have been long-term owners in all these marketplaces whom may have never made any cosmetic upgrades, but have run a tight ship, but have very low rents. So you have buyers that will come in and say, listen, I don't want such a high risk, but I'm willing to, one by one, as tenants move out, go in and make the improvements and then benefit from a higher income stream. And then you have, a portion of investors that have come into all these marketplaces, and perhaps they thought that managing properties was easy. There's a lot of different things that people might think about owning real estate, and that's super, super easy. And maybe they get in over their head and they don't have the capital to make improvements or increase rents or have property management. So there's all these different stories. Every property is a story. So if you really take the time, and again, who you work with as a broker is critical, because I can look at a property in Hartford, say, and look at it and say, okay, the value is $50,000 more if you do X, Y, Z. But a lot of people aren't taking the time to see, how do you dig into what inventory is out there and what the value is for someone coming in. So it's we really, really, really do a deep dive into every single property that comes on the market and every property that we list, because we want to be able to show the value, because real estate's appreciating. I've been doing this, 23, 24 years. And yes, there's been one down market since I started buying and being a broker. But when that market went down, it more than came back. So it's as long as you can have a long-term plan or a mid-term plan and stay in a property, you're not going to fail at buying real estate.
Right.
So, some more urban areas. You can look at more economically challenged areas. Single families right now are popping up, multifamilies in New London County in Connecticut. Those opportunities are popping up right now. Again, long-term ownership in the more rural areas are what's popping up. So that's kind of what I'm seeing in the markets here. And, the value add just started. We've not had a value add market for, I don't know, PJ, you can speak to it. I can't remember the last time that I was selling properties in value add. All of a sudden 3 months ago, it was single families are popping up, multifamilies to rehab. And all of a sudden, I'm back playing the multiple offer game with my clients, trying to get them in at a lower price so they can benefit from, their sweat equity or appreciation over time.
Nice. Switching over to you, PJ. Now, you're Vice President, General Manager of Central and AllPoints Realty, which is, one of the largest and leading brokerages throughout the New England. And most recently, you've expanded into Florida. Now, you've been a guest on the program before, but it's been a minute. And AllPoints has, grown their footprint quite a bit. Tell us a little bit about that and what the plans are for the future.
Well, I think, yes, thanks, Matt. And I think last time we talked was we were just getting into Florida, and we've expanded now into Naples and other markets into Florida for the simple fact, again, we're watching where, people are moving, how demographics are changing. I was just looking at the top people moving into the Naples market. Number 1 was from Miami, Metro Miami. Number 2, Chicago. Number 3, New York, Connecticut, right? So all of a sudden, though, and we're seeing a lot of this happen again in the Panhandle, where you might get more Midwestern, Alabama, Arkansas. But it goes into, like Lisa just said, in the Northeast, the value add was over a decade since we saw appreciation in Connecticut. And now it's coming on, every month we keep on seeing more appreciation, even, 3% appreciation already this year in the first 2 months. But there's so much that Lisa just touched on that is so important. And that was one thing that I've worked with Lisa in the past, that watching her team grow, people have probably saw all over Facebook, they said over 71% of real estate agents didn't sell a home last year, didn't sell a home. So when you're looking at investment, not only your own property, that's probably the largest investment you're going to make, but am I buying a house in Florida? Am I buying a house in New London County that I might want to rent out? And they're looking at those numbers. Lisa's team sells hundreds of investment properties a year and thousands of units in. So they're actually doing the data to help. And that might be a condo in Destin, Florida, about what the ROI is. Can I Airbnb it? What can I make? What's the numbers going to look like? And doing the research to do that. So making sure you're making a sound investment. And it also could be something where, hey, I want to buy a house in Naples, or I want to, what does that look like if I rented it for a month? And working with that as her team looks to expand into these markets, because a lot of times people don't even think about it, but our home values have increased so much. I've got equity now. Maybe I can buy a secondary house. Maybe I can buy an investment property to bring more income in to do different things, whether that's retirement, just, cash flow, all those different things that open up these possibilities. And Lisa's team is not only knowledgeable, but one of the best in the country at doing this in some of the hardest markets, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey. And now as we look into Florida, there's different things. Plus we get a lot of PCSing, right? A lot of military, as they're looking for their permanent station and where they're going to be going, they become investors without knowing it because they can't sell their home, or they choose they don't want to because they're going to come back here in 3 years. Well, now we have a team like Lisa's who can actually do all the data, show you what's worth, what house are you going to buy when you come back here, and we have a property management company that can help you manage your portfolio or your home, whatever they're looking to do with that, depending on where it is. So it really is a unique market to look at. It's really leveled out. As Lisa just said, we're seeing a ton of value add and appreciation in the multifamily and everything we see about Airbnb and renting and so forth. So it's really it's a bucket that we needed to be in as a real estate company. I would encourage all real estate companies to start looking at what their commercial or investment division is doing. And we just hit the tip of the iceberg with Lisa that we're talking about, really trying to scale this, and the possibilities are huge.
And Lisa, I guess I would ask you, because I being a former member of the Century 21 brand myself, I kind of preached the value proposition of the brand for many years. What made you decide to join Century 21 AllPoints, and have these expansion plans that PJ's describing played a factor in that decision making?
So yes, it did. PJ has been a confidant of mine for 15 years and has really been a huge support, guide, mentor in the business, and I trust him inherently. And with our team, I got in the business at 28. I'm 51 now, right? So when I got in the business, the MLS was DOS based. You did your search every morning. And back in the day, I printed the MLS sheet. I wrote the income and expenses after I called the agent on the back of the sheet because there was no attachments. I did the analysis by hand, and then I faxed it to my investors. So obviously, all these different technologies have come out, and I really want and need to stay relevant, not only for myself, but for the health of the team. And I really want everyone on my team to succeed. PJ knows, my mission in life is for everyone to live their most beautiful life, full stop, period. And I've been completely blessed in this business. I've worked really hard, and don't get me wrong, I've had my down days, but at the end of the day, I've been blessed beyond belief in this business. And I want to share everything that I've done with as many people that want to be aligned with our culture, which is super important. Century 21 is my culture, and this will forever be ingrained in my mind. When the owner of Century 21 said at our holiday party, "We work for you, you don't work for us." From the minute I stepped into Century 21, anything that they could do to alleviate or support or have me grow my business, I send an email or a text message and it's done. I don't have to think about it. If I have a crazy, awesome idea that I want to implement, I know exactly who I need to send the email to, my outline and my notes, and they help me put it together. Even this opportunity speaking with you right now, this is not something I would ever seek out because I don't listen to a tremendous amount of podcasts. And then with the expansion piece of your question, my system is super simple. It's like the idea on a Post-it note. But again, it's something I stayed committed and consistent to for 23 years. And it's why I have the business I have, because I never gave up. No matter what the market was, no matter what we were selling, we still connected with our clients, and I've kept my database for 23 years. So I'm super excited to be, getting my broker's license in Florida, which I'll have by the end of next week. PJ, I'm taking the test. And to go down to Florida and grow that, right? So I'm also at the age of maybe I would go to Florida. Maybe I will do something down there. But, we've met someone, he's super excited to get started with us. So I'm super excited that we created. So
Absolutely.
Century 21, just like it's family. And that's how I feel like. I feel like I'm part of a family. Like they hold me up if I need support or I need confidence boosting or I need something fancy. They're right there. So I cannot, I love the transition. I had a great ride at my previous company, but I'm super excited to take my team to the next level.
Excellent. Excellent. Now, this next question is for both of you. And we're going to get into a little bit more market specifics here. So, the value of real property, as we've discussed, has increased dramatically over the past several years. How has demand in the multifamily investment properties evolved in your markets, over the past year, and what factors are driving investor interest as we look at around the corner here into Q2, Q3, and into the tail end of this year?
I mean, the multifamily market for us has been strong since pre-COVID. I haven't seen a lull. My numbers have been at or above 2018 for at least 5 years. And I think what happened, we've had people coming here from New York and New Jersey for as long as I can remember. And the bottom line is New York and New Jersey New York definitely, and parts of Jersey will always just have higher price points and lower cap rates just by the nature of New York City and things of that nature. So, Connecticut still is kind of like this hidden little gem because it's such a small state that people are like, oh, I just discovered Connecticut. And it's like, when in essence, and we have a heavy amount of Jewish clientele coming in from New York and New Jersey, and that is probably 80% of my business. And so we've worked with them in the last decade, 2 decades, to build their portfolios. And now there's just a younger demographic coming out of their children or their relatives, so they're coming into the marketplace now, but there's still value here. You can still get a 6 to an 8 cap property. You're not getting double digits, but you're still getting a return on your investment. So I think just simply having these bigger markets like Boston and New York on either side of us kind of helps us, and the prices have still appreciated. Rents right now in the last, I'd say, 18 months to 2 years have completely risen. So, I mean, just numbers I was even getting on my own personal rentals, $1,200, I'm getting $2,200 now. So it's kind of crazy watching what's happening with the rental rates with, investors and some people not buying properties that are, could be using the 6%, 7% interest rate. So we haven't had a lull. There's high demand. There's still multiple offers. If you price properties right, they're going to sell. Okay. And you're not pricing them low. You're pricing them for completely. I mean, no one I'm working with right now is taking a loss on a property.
Right. This kind of leads me into my next question. So, I think we probably all have friends and family that have talked about buying a rehab property and fixing it up and selling it for a profit. At one point or another in our lives. What challenges and opportunities do you see for investors looking to acquire and reposition rehab properties in today's market?
The biggest challenge is simply there's not enough, lack of inventory. So again, who you align yourself with as a broker and having investment or, being able to write offers that are super competitive that are going to beat everyone else's out, that's important. So again, it's, I've kind of noticed in the marketplace, a lot of my competition as far as agents and brokers really don't pick up the phone to have phone conversations. They're pushing an offer out and it's sitting in someone's email. Maybe it ends up in spam and that buyer's offer never even got considered, right? So it comes down to human connection and building relationships and picking up the phone, asking the questions that an agent might answer. What terms is your seller looking for? What speaks to them? What matters to them? Because sometimes it does matter. It's not always a bank loan property. So when you can get some kind of information, someone's like, oh, they really, want to close in 7 days, subject to title, then you can put your best foot forward. It's asking the question if they would like escalation clauses, and I know in the marketplace, some people love them, some people don't. But ask the question, because the bottom line is if you're not going to do it, someone else might, and then you are not, providing world-class service to your buyer so they can get the property. Having the mentality that you're going to sell your client that property and you're going to put it back on the market, showing them the value proposition. So it's so much, I think, about who you're aligned with, to get these properties. I mean, I've been very, very lucky. I don't work with a tremendous amount of buyers anymore just because I have 11 people on my team that do. But I have 2 or 3 people from my beginning days that I just, and we've done, I think, 5 rehabs this year. So we are winning in 18, 20, 30 offers that are on the table, but it's just being able to communicate properly with the listing agent, you know, the power of the buyer, what their success is, what their resume is. Like, how do you set your buyer apart? When I can send a resume over and say, hey, he's done 100 rehabs in the last 10 years, guess what? They're going to pick him, you know, or, you know, just even playing with numbers. Like, I do funny things with numbers in my offers. Like, I don't ever offer 200,000. You know, so these offers all went in, and, you know, I had an idea of what they were, and when it was all said and done, I said to the agent, I said, so what were the offers? He's like, oh, so there was 200, a whole bunch below, and then you came in at 201, 111, you win.
Right.
By 1,011, you know, it's that silly, though, and then it just makes you feel good, because it's not rocket science. So I really try to keep this business, like, super simple, and put, like, a lot of research and diligence into what we do and how we can provide the best service possible, so we can have our clients, you know, our dream for our clients is to build passive income and financial freedom. I actually had to take a property off the market today because I made my guy too much money. He's like, at least I got to take a listing off because, like, you're making me too much money in my other deals. And I'm like, oh, well, that stinks for me, but I respect it, and I'll get the listing down the road, right? But that's a huge compliment to myself. So I didn't look at it as a negative this morning. I'm like, all right, so I did my job very well, and he has to take the other property off the market because he doesn't want to have to deal with capital gains or 1031 on that.
Right.
So, so that's the biggest thing with rehabs. It's just lack of inventory, and then being able to position yourself properly with the right agent to help the investor get across the finish line.
Yeah.
You know,
so, I mean, from everything you've said, you know, you consider real estate a solid investment. Do you see folks looking at it as a hedge that are concerned about having all their investments tied up with equities in terms of like an opportunity to rebalance their portfolio in a way that kind of shifts some of that risk toward real estate versus equity?
I personally believe that real estate is the best investment. And I'm sure there are people that, you know, are involved in stocks. My dad is, and I have a little bit of investment there. But for me, you can see real estate, you can touch it, and you ultimately control it. So if you are a solid, high quality property manager that cares about people, you're going to have success. I have a client of mine who came in for Newark, New Jersey, and he wanted to see properties in Hartford. And I'm like, I just want to let you know, you're going to have boots on the ground. It's very management intensive. He's like, Lisa, I grew up in the jungles of Newark with investments. And he's like, I am wildly successful. So if you treat your investment like it is an investment, you're going to be wildly successful. I think, you know, people are a little bit shaky about interest rates, and these are normal interest rates. So it's like when people, you know, say that to me, like, I'm going to wait for the rates to go down. Are they going to go down? Are they going to go down when you really want to invest? Or are they going to go down when you're looking at retirement, right? But this 6 to 7%, this is when I got in the market, and it was a normal market. Then we had these blessings of 3%, 4% rates. That was awesome. But, like, you can't wait for that, like, Nordstrom sale if you want to buy that pair of jeans that are going to be in style this year, right? Like, if you are a career investor, you're going to invest in every market, and you're going to be able to realize, okay, you know, if the 6% is too high, maybe that 3% will come back and you can, you know, refinance one day. But I don't think, you know, anyone who's not investing right now because of the rates, I think could be making a mistake, right? So the other piece of real estate, which I think is probably the most simple factor to be cognizant of, people need food, water, and shelter. We sell shelter.
Right. Makes sense.
Most of the people, you know, hopefully have a roof over their head, right? But like when you really break it down to that, the population is growing. There's less and less land to put construction on. Construction prices, in my opinion, are a little high right now, right? So there's not a huge amount of that development going on. Rents are going up. So, I mean, it's this investment tool that you can use that people have to have.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
And Matt, just to add, like what Lisa said is 100% right. And when you add in the demand and lack of inventory, we still have a housing shortage in the United States, rents are going to appreciate at least by 1.8% over the next 5 years nationwide. When you go into the Northeast, where we have a really lack of inventory, they're going up by more than that. And even in a buyer's market in Florida, again, home prices are still going to rise over the next 5 years. Rents are going to rise. Demand is going to be there. Population is rising exponentially in Florida. And as we have a lack of dirt, like Lisa just said, and construction costs in the Northeast, rents are going to go up. An investment is, you marry the investment, you marry the home, don't marry the rate. Look at the numbers, and Lisa's team does the numbers better than anybody, is going to show you your ROI. And that becomes a true investment, like you just said. So everything is still laying out. No matter what's going on in the economy, there's still really, really successful investments that you can make. And if you're working with a team like the Cozzi team and Lisa, they're going to put you in the right boots to find the right thing that fits you. Because not every investment is for the right person.
No, and I think that's also critical. It's like, as I train my team, I think asking those questions, like the more questions you can ask someone, like, what is your dream property? Most likely we all want to have that sexy property Airbnb that's making, buku money. But like, if you seriously want to be an investor, like I have people that will only invest in 1979 in newer properties. I love that because now I know exactly what I have to show them. Or there's people that want to be like, I want to be within 15 minutes of a university. Like the more detail that investors can share with us, the faster, more efficient we can serve them, right? And show them those properties. I think another huge piece of investing in real estate, like anyone who's young should be buying a property as fast as they can. The faster that you can get yourself into an investment property at a younger age, benefit from the rents coming in to help offset the mortgage payments, because you're already paying rent anyway. You're going to pay rent or you can pay a mortgage. So if people seriously want to be financially free and retire as soon as possible, the faster they get into this real estate investment opportunity, I think the better. Like I can't stress it enough. Real estate investments have set me free, right? I started buying them in the 20s. My first house was a multifamily in West Hartford that I still have. And, real estate is a great vehicle. And I cannot stress, like, I'm really trying to get my team, because there's a lot of young 20s on there. I'm like, let's put investment seminars together for the younger people. And listen, it's not going to be all cherries and whipped cream and all that good stuff, but at least we can say, hey, if you're a great landlord, or if you need property management, we have 2 property management companies that can assist you. So you don't even have to think about that. It's going to cost you a little bit of money, but at least you're stress-free. They'll handle that stuff. So I just think also people just really need to get educated about what real estate investment is, and not just say like, oh, do you want to buy a property? Like, I think there's just so much communication that lacks into informing the consumer about what the opportunity is and how this can set you up, because you're getting in at 3.5% down or something for a first time investment. Like, that is a really great opportunity to start, saving, because pensions have basically gone to the wayside. There's not a lot of retirement plans. If people want to have children, how are you paying for college? So that was my plan. When I was 28, I moved to Connecticut, I got my real estate license, and I was like, well, I'm not dating anybody right now. Hopefully I'll get married. Hopefully I'll have a few kids. And I bought 2 properties, hoping that I would have 2 kids one day, and I do have a husband and 2 kids now. But I bought a property for each of them so it would pay their college education. And so now they're paid off, and it will pay for their college, and I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, and this kind of goes to the broader question of the real estate vertical in general. So, for PJ, real estate professionals that are looking to get into the business right now, that might be weary of the economy or the interest rates, as Lisa was mentioning, what advice would you give them, and why is now a good time to investigate the opportunity of working, with a brand like Century 21 AllPoints, for instance?
Well, the one thing about real estate, and Lisa touched on this about investing too, one thing about real estate is, if you want to get into this business and get into this career, you make your own career, right? You become a brand with the most recognized real estate brand in Century 21, but we're not going to tell you that you can only make X amount. We're not going to tell you that your salary's capped. You legitimately can go and make 7 figures selling real estate. You can change your life. And Lisa just talked about investing in real estate as an agent getting into it, there's my college tuition for my kids. Like, getting into real estate as a career is one of the only careers that there is no ceiling. You can play golf on a Monday if you wanted to, but you can work and make as much money as you want. And if you sell 2 houses a month with our average sale price, now you're talking about making, $250,000 a year. And you can do that. And Matt, you could get your license and move from Pennsylvania and come work for me tomorrow. And we can show you what you need to do that. And there's a business plan to it. And the one thing this kind of goes back to Lisa too, is there's a lot of shiny new tools out there. And there's, oh my God, I'm going to get this magic thing over here and I'm going to be wildly successful. Guess what? Her team rolls up their sleeves and does the hard work and gives you the data and shows you all the numbers so you can be successful. Same thing in real estate. If you roll up your sleeves and work hard, I know the most successful real estate people I know in the sales side are the people who work the most. They work the hardest and they work the smartest. And you can be a 7-figure person by getting into this business and working at it. So I tell people, look, it's a sales job, right? But it's a relationship business. It is something that you need to be working. It's not something where you can do it on a part-time basis to be successful. You can still do it. But if you want to change your life and make an income where you may not be able to make in any other industry, you can do this. And a few years from time, you could be not only investing in real estate, but selling real estate and making money that changes not only your life, but your family's life. So I really look at it as if somebody, and when I talk to a person who's getting into this business, I tell them how it is. This is what's going to happen. And if you're willing to do this, you can change your life. And you can make more money than you can make it anywhere else. And if not, I get it. But the one thing too, Matt, as we talked about, is everybody's goals are different. Somebody's goal just might be to pay for college. And somebody's goal just might be to pay off a credit card. And somebody's goal just might be like, hey, this is my second career. I want enough money to make so I can retire happily. We're here to make you hit your goal, whether that's sell 100 houses a year, make $1 million, or pay off your credit card. And we can show you how to do it. And Century 21 is a great brand to do it with. And we have the best team that I have ever seen in 25 years in this industry with us, from Florida to Connecticut, to support our agents and make sure people like Lisa and her team and a brand new agent who's just joined us yesterday to hit their goals.
Right on. Hey, I really want to thank PJ Lewis and Lisa Cozzi for their time today on the MyBFF Business Leaders podcast. Really, really great stuff. It inspires confidence in the real estate market, in real estate investment, and multifamily. Really, really strong. So I want to thank you again, and we'll circle back with you and follow up with the program notes. And for all of our listeners out there, please follow us on MyBFFSocial.com, and thank you very much.
Thanks, Matt. If there's realtors out there who are, Lisa was so dynamic in what she was talking about, and they want to get involved with that, reach out to Lisa.
Yeah,
reach out to her. She can scale her team. She can talk to you. She is a resource to help you change your career too. So reach out to her, and thank you, Matt, for this time. I always appreciate it.
And Lisa, what's the best way to reach you for agents that are interested in joining your team, or consumers who are interested in reaching out to you?
Just giving me a quick call. What I'm going to tell you is this: what I do is not sexy. What you can make is sexy, and we are just filled with heart and hustle and grit. And if those words resonate with you, purpose and passion, being committed and consistent, I can show someone how to do 6 figures in 6 months. I have the system. I've done it over and over and over again and created wildly successful real estate agents. So, just give me a call. Call me. I love people that call me, because it shows, when we are looking for people and someone picks up the phone and just doesn't send a resume through Indeed, I'm like, you're speaking my language.
Awesome.
Or send me a text.
Right.
Because you're going a step above the ease, right? Pick up the phone.
All right.
I would love to hear from somebody. So
this is Lisa Cozzi, not an AI.
Correct. Not